Hi guys, welcome to a new video. In this video, I wanted to do more of a random study. So I started on my drawing pictures board and then I headed over to more ideas. And I wanted it to be fairly random, so I ended up picking the first photo on here. And that is from an artist with the signature PC. I do not know who it is, and I was trying to find like their stuff, but like searching PC obviously just shows up a lot of computer things, so that was a little bit discouraging. But if you guys know who they are, I would love for you to comment, and I might do a little bit more searching myself. So looking at the piece, I was like, initially I wanted to use the first image that I saw, and then I was like analyzing how I thought the colors were speaking and how the pink seems to be the enemy here, and like the girl looks upset, right? Oh shoot, Lord Jesus. The girl looks upset, and it seems like the pink has like infiltrated her fridge and messed up her food. And so these two pieces, I don't know if I mentioned it yet, but are from the same artist, the one below and the one above. And then I looked at the other character, the pink one, and I was like, wait, maybe they are kind of the enemy, or maybe part of what the enemy is, like the pink goo people. And so I was more interested in that character's design. Obviously, it's a bit more complicated from the screenshots you can see. And I ended up drawing this character just like in my own style, I guess, a little bit, but also with a lot of inspiration from their style. And so for that study, not for that study, that's pretty much what the study like turned into. It's just a redraw, and I practiced my anatomy a little bit with that. I initially wanted to do a lighting study, but the way that I had drawn this, it was in no environment, which makes it a bit hard to do like as a beginner. I really had no like inspiration or grounding for that, so I eventually get to drawing the character. Okay, now let's continue. I am doing a voiceover of the drawing. I recorded while I was like drawing it itself, but I tend to not, even when I'm not drawing, but like I tend to not speak at the same, like I can't do two things at once sometimes. So even right now, I think I just need to close all of the distractions. It's kind of bad. It makes me feel like I'm in school again. Oh gosh. Okay. So as I was saying, I was just like drawing, because at this point I'm still thinking I'm drawing characters, then I want to put them in an environment or something. So I was just like drawing anatomy, and as it goes when you don't practice your anatomy a lot, I was like doing this a good bit of times, trying to figure out like where the rib cage and stuff was, and that took a good minute, and like understanding where the neck would be placed. At no point did I look up the reference to understand this a bit better. So when I don't do that, I just like play with it a lot. But that reminds me of a video I saw today where this person was using a 3D sculpting program to sculpt their like OC in a 3D space essentially. And they're saying that they can use that a lot for references, and you can see your character from every angle. So say your characters have like different noses and things like that. So it's like you're not drawing the same type of nose every time from different angles. It's like, I don't know, I feel like the more diverse you draw your characters, the harder it is to keep replicating them in every different pose. Because it's like this is a lot of the X to remember. So they were saying that that's like a good hack to have reference for all of them. And I was like, that would be a good idea. Like even for me, just to have a 3D version of a more feminine face or a more masculine face. And I know there's like programs around, but every time I try to get them, it's like I can either only find ones of the face for free, or I don't know, I have to just look at actual pose, which is kind of frustrating because it inherently feels limiting, even though like you can definitely find like this pose. Like I don't think it's that crazy, and you can also take a picture of it yourself. But the using a the software, like having it be specific, I was like, that feels pretty cool. And they were like also talking about how it will like force you to learn anatomy a bit more. So like, cause you're sculpting it from a block. Like it's not like you're starting with a female or male base. It's you're like sculpting it from a block essentially. So I was like, that would be super fun. So if I do that, we'll like record it because I imagine that'll be um, a good like learning experience and good for like any artist that draws anatomy. Um, and I am like so obsessed with this character design. Like, I feel like as a black woman, the representation in art is just like not, especially like cyber or sci-fi stuff. It's just like not always like where you will want it to be, which is something. But I love when artists do include us, and obviously I can do more of that myself. But I did talk when I was recording um, live with this. I did talk about how it was hard for me to what was I trying to say? Okay, I remember what I was trying to say. While I was drawing this, I was like talking about how I want to like have an idea for this like sci-fi world, and I'm not sure if I wanted to do like a video game or like almost like a comic type of thing, but I do want it to be sci-fi and have like these kind of like cyber-esque colors and bright neons and stuff. So like learning this lighting and palette is important for me, so I will like need to actually do studies of that. But I guess my brain was just thinking about like I would want to like obviously have characters of color and things like that, and in looking at this like the artist's rendering of darker skin, it seems that like obviously in a different light, like ambient light of like pink, darker skin tends to look more purple and bluish. So learning things like that when that's not like typically how I draw. Obviously I would draw it if I'm like drawing in a normal lighting setting, it would be like a regular brown or darker skin color. So that is like something else to think about, and that's what I was thinking about. Here I was adding the guts, and this is when I knew that if I like kept rendering this, I was gonna get into like a frustrating moment. Cause I was like, what? Like in my mind, like obviously like, looking at theirs, it looks more like free rendering, and obviously it's not real life, so render how you want to render it. But I was looking at it and I was thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, so like where does the intestine go? Like there's a large one and a small one, and one goes up and down, and the other one goes like one goes up, one goes down. And I was like, this is gonna be too much. So I was gonna keep it a sketch until I was ready to do that. Also here I had mentioned that I really liked how I drew the legs, so I wanted to do shorts because in my mind I was like, oh, big pants would be so cute, like small top big pants thing. But I found these shorts on Pinterest that are adorable and like velvet and like little lacy, and what do you call that? It's almost like corset where you have the lines where the cord feeds through on the sides, and I was like, that was so pretty. So I decided to go with those for that outfit, and then I added their star earrings, and I gave them like a muscle tee for this, so it almost looks like pajama-esque, which is kind of cute. And yeah, I was like really in love with how this came out, and it's easier to study, I think, when you're like looking at something that's so inspiring in general. Like when I'm like just studying anatomy and I'm like just looking at poses and stuff, I kind of always get to a point of being like, oh god, school. And this like did not feel like that at all. So it was a fun way to prompt myself to draw, and this is how it came out. I honestly am so tempted to just like add some flats behind it. Maybe I should do that. So maybe I'll do that and I'll flash it in at the end. But aside from that, thank you for watching, and if you have any suggestions, leave them below. Any comments, leave them below, please. Subscribe if you like. Throw it a like.